Hello, I hope you're enjoying this series as much as I am delivering it to you. So, today's topic, you all, is God. All right, what is your earliest impression of God? So interesting. When I really think back, for me, going to a hotel room and seeing the Bible, I knew it had a lot of God stuff in there. Seeing, I guess, pictures of Jesus, when you'd go to a church or whatever, and then God was his dad, God was his father. So I think, those were my early impressions of God, just like, okay, so yeah, there's God. I think I even remember a couple of times trying to pick up the Bible and, starting, of course, in the beginning, the Old Testament. Yeah, that didn't end well. I'm like, this is crazy stuff. Didn't take me too long to discard that. And, so I really just had no concept of God. Obviously, no relationship with God. All of that happened much, 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 much later in my life. So, again, all of our stories are so different. God could have been early on in your story. For me, is much later. But whenever that was, what was your impression of God? I just thought God was just, something out there. I couldn't even begin to try to grasp anything about God. Other than, I remember I was on a traveling baseball team in high school. And one of our assistant coaches, he would always have us say the Lord's Prayer, before every game or whatever. So I'd say it, and he was very, you could tell that meant a lot to him. So I think I just thought, well, that's good, this dude. And his name was Dude. At least that was his nickname anyway. He really took it to heart. So I learned it, I think out of respect for him. And I mean, there was nothing bad about the prayer. Do unto others I think that was the one. Yeah. And so, yeah, I didn't have a negative connotation. I just thought, well, if that's what people need to pull them through or to give them the perseverance they need to get through life, I'm fine with that. I was never I think it was anti, some of the religious stuff because of what I saw, the hypocrisy in the religion that I was exposed to growing up. I think, the people that had one-on-one, what I viewed as a special relationship with God or Jesus or whatever, I thought that was fine. That was, that didn't have an impact on me one way or another. So what about you? What is your first exposure to God, and what were your thoughts about God? Who shaped it? Who shaped those thoughts about God? For me, it was like visiting the different churches as I was growing up and into adulthood. And, there were I went to a lot of Catholic services, if you want to call them that. And there were some pastors that were funnier than others, and some had a little, were a little more interesting to listen to, not in the content, but just they knew how to use voice inflection and they knew how to keep an audience. But, nothing was really ever relatable. I remember going to weddings, and then you'd get, different people, different pastors or religious leaders that were conducting weddings. And again, it was just like, well, yeah, there's, the Baptists and the Lutherans and the Catholics. And my friends, would always say, oh, yeah, these guys do this and these guys do that. I'm like, this is crazy. Everybody's got their own little cults or whatever they were. I didn't know, didn't understand it. So that was kind of my first exposure to God, that, the people that really believed, like my grandma, I don't think I ever really talked with her concerning God. But I remember she had a cross hanging in her apartment, her and my cousin, my Aunt Dorothy. So that meant a lot to me, because I just thought, oh, okay. This is good. So I guess the God part of it for me was okay. It was like, wow, if they're getting strength from this, then that's not a bad thing. And I didn't see any of the negative stuff going on with the individuals. So for me, it was just, any of the stuff that seemed dishonest or dishonorable or not above board. So think about it. What was your first experience with God, or knowing God, or bumping up against God, or just, what was your impression of that God experience early in your life? Fascinating. Isn't it fun to continue to build your story? I'm so excited for you guys, because again, your story is going to change lives. So keep this train rolling. All right, we'll see you in the next installment.